Okay, well it's that time of year once again where we've reached the end of another academic year in football season here at the Dorking Wanderers Academy. Delighted to say I'm joined by Director of Football Jordan Clark for our annual sit down and reflection on the year. Jordan, good to see you.
Good to see you, Dan.
And we'll start with a look back on how the education has gone across the pathways through the last year. Obviously we're at that point now where A-level exams are taking place and BTEC's final submissions are going in as well. Just your thoughts, Jordan, on how the year's gone across the education pathways.
Yeah, well, we're 2 weeks from our official end date, so it's that sort of wrapping up time. Year 13s are looking forward to next ventures in terms of a summer break and then off to university, American scholarships, loads of excitement, degree apprenticeships, loads going on, and that is always an emotional time, but one of great pride when you see the journey that they've gone on and the exit routes that we've allowed them to get. But educationally, another great year, Dan. We're looking forward to getting some of our best A-level results. We always knew that sort of cycle of learners was very exciting in terms of their GCSE results, and we're hoping that be reflected in their A-level results. And the BTEC very much the same. So it was our biggest ever cohort, the second years that are finishing. That was the biggest that we ever went to. So to see them, us manage them through and achieving the Alps targets and above target grades that they are, it's fantastic to see. So yeah, and with the first years, they finished their first 6 units. We're just tidying a few bits up now, a few resubmissions, planning ahead, looking forward to the research project next year, starting to look at things to make sure that we start the year on fire next year. So yeah, we're winding down, but also winding up as well a little bit, Dan. It's that sort of, we're ahead of schedule, which is great, but also being ahead, let's stay ahead and continue to work hard. But I think they're all looking forward to the off season, and we're looking forward to pre-season, which is only 4 or 5 weeks away.
Absolutely, no, we'll come around, of course, very quickly again, gearing up towards next year. And just to touch on our education partners at Carrington as well, Jordan. So just at the end of our second year of the partnership with Carrington, our GCSE Key Stage 4 programme, just reflections on how that's gone. Second year now, well, nearly complete with Carrington.
Well, it's just that extension of the pathway. This is the first year that that will pay dividends in terms of having a cycle of learners coming into the post-16 programme as well. So we're going to have Rubens, Ron, we're going to have William Bazanella, we're going to have 4 or 5 learners that will make the transition from doing the 2 years at our Key Stage 4 programme, going into the sort of post-16 element. So yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing the fruits of that labour that George and Ben and the guys over at Carrington have done, Mr. Lockhart, and they would already have a really strong foundation of learning the Wanderers way, how we do things, and we've already built strong relationships with them. So I'm expecting them to have a really good, start to the academic year and football season, having had that knowledge. So yeah, it's really exciting that, because every year, we're pushing new boundaries with that. The school itself are developing their football provision, and we're playing a massive part of that. So it's not just the key stage, the year 10s, year 11s, for those who know what that year groups are. We are working with the year 7s, 8s and 9s, running their after school football clubs, doing their games. We had the year 7s down here not long ago, playing a fixture here at Meadowbank. So yeah, their football provision's growing. The coaching that we're offering is allowing more growth, and we're expecting, as the cycles continue, that we're going to get better and more well-rounded players, both male and female, to join the post-16 programme.
Now we look forward to the partnership continuing into the third year next year, and as you mentioned there, Jordan, welcoming those first students directly from Carrington into the post-16 programme. In terms of the football side of things, Jordan, we've about a month or so on from the end of the 24-25 season. Just an update on or thoughts on the season and what's happened in recent weeks as we've kind of closed things up, and just thoughts looking ahead to next season.
Well, it's always difficult with the where the football season and the academic year don't align. So there is a motivational aspect that we have to manage with the learners, and also a well-being aspect where you want to continue training and you want to continue ticking over, but for some they need respite and giving them other ways of learning or other ways of being challenged. And in this off-season period, we've had some great experiences. Like the girls went to the Craven Cottage and played a tournament. We had our VLUK Cup game against Chatham. So yeah, we try and put different things on that they still have the itch to scratch in terms of football. But we are very conscious that that time becomes, better weather. We're doing a lot of coaching. We're doing a lot of our practical elements. So yeah, it's always a difficult month in terms of managing the Wednesdays. We've used them as extracurricular days where we're doing work for next year, doing catch up, resubmissions, maths and English GCSEs, making sure that we're using the time for extra revision, etc. So yeah, it's been great, and last season feels like a long time ago, and the new season, even the B team, our flagship team, they'll be going back in a week's time. They'll start their pre-season with the season starting early August. So yeah, there's no respite, but we've managed to give the players that needed it time off and not as much training, and then equally those who want to continue to develop and have got a bit of a different off season, we've managed to plan ahead for that.
With the girls side of the post-16 academy program for next year, we're welcoming more students than ever before to the program, which is brilliant. And with that, we've got offerings with a couple of extra teams as well, Saturdays and Sundays. A couple of teams competing there as well. So fantastic that the pathway on the girls' side is expanding again as we go into 25-26.
Well, Dan, it really is drawing parallels to my early days here with the men's side of the game. We knew that there was obviously with no case studies of learners going through the program, or you're always trying to lean on people's confidence in you without any proof of results or outcomes. So what we've done is with the female side of our program is, and we're really excited by it. I looked at that sort of first 2 years. What did we have at Dorking that allowed our program to grow and still be in touch with that age group? So our cohorts were a lot smaller. We didn't have loads of teams. So what we had was like an under-18 team that played another night or another day. And that allowed us to have access to more players, better quality, and equally as well give us scope to play across many different levels. So if you've got players here who maybe not quite good enough for the Wednesday in terms of where they're at with their development, they can play a level of football at another day that would be better suited for them. So we're managing their development. So the exciting thing is, and we've done many exciting things this year with the female side of the game, Debbie's come on board and is now running our 12s, 14s, 16s, 15s, sort of a youth academy for the girls, youth development program for the girls, and then also heading up our ladies B teams, 23s development team. And we thought, we want to make sure that we've got the best crop of players underneath for Debbie to have, supporting her development, her team, and then also that we can then upward challenge to get as many girls into the first team as possible, because the gap isn't as big as what it was for the men's back then, Dan. So there's a real opportunity there. I think we've seen that with the likes of Jasmine Smith, Imogen from last year from the development team. We've got some really exciting players joining the program. Poppy, we've got Alicia being part of the under-18s. We've got, all these players that are exciting, and we want to make sure that we keep them a part of our football club. And having those two extra teams, so the way it's going to work is we're going to have a pool of around about 35 to 40 girls, and they're all going to play across a Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. And then when they're good enough, they'll end up playing for Debbie's team, so the development team. And then when they supersede that, they'll go into the girls' team. So the fact that we've got a girls' programme that Debbie can pick 35, 40 players from when it's right for their development, when they're emotionally, physically able, there's many different ways that you look at development. We're just able to offer a much wider scope of programme, and that will only stand us in good stead continuing to try and attract female players to a really good pathway that we're looking to continue to grow. And again, just a big thanks to the Steve Tallboys Foundation for their huge support in doing that. That's been a tremendous partnership for us this year, for both sides. I believe we've managed to, give them some really good exposure and scope, and I know that Michelle has been ever so grateful for that. But I can tell you now, there's no one more grateful than them girls being given the access to a football provision via their kind gesture and support for our programme.
Very much so. And a big thank you to the Steve Talboys Foundation, our academy charity partners, and fantastic plans in place for the girls' pathway to expand further, develop further in 25-26. Flipping it back to the boys' side of the academy, of course, the B team heads up the pathway in terms of that bridging that gap between coming out of the academy and into the first team or into senior football locally. The B team had a fantastic season in 24-25, didn't they? Top 4 finish in the league, highest number of points and goals, and compared to the previous seasons, and of course won the Challenge Cup as well, which is brilliant. How are plans shaping up for the B team for next season, John?
So we've got our elite development group. We've got around about 36 players in that group that we've highlighted for next year. All have been contacted over the last sort of week or so. We have there's a different level of provision for those players, and it's freely movable. So once players reach the level required to be across our B team and our National League Academies division side, then they'll fit into that, and they'll have the trials and tribulations that brings. There's a lot more demand in terms of gym programs, psychological work, nutrition. It's a much more advanced program. So we're really excited, Dan, about 36 players we've got in that, and then also the upward challenging coming from the Alliance, the Tactics, the SEL teams. I'm very much looking forward to Dunny having a real challenge on his hand in making sure that he's got the right players in the right environment, and the same with Bobby. So, yeah, we're looking forward to going into pre-season with a pool of players that we're very excited about. We've got some fantastic players from the under-16s on what was both sides, which is now a collective youth section. But we've got, Blaze Weller, for example, who played even for the B team last year while he was still an under-16. We've got some really exciting young players that are joining the programme. So yeah, we're looking for, again, applying pressure, an even better season. We want more players pushing for the first team, we want more players going out on loan. We want more players being able to, continue to grow with us and get even better development than what we've had in previous years. So we're not going to stand still, and we've got now a workforce and a provision within the club with now Rob Tuvey involved, Jonathan Bynes, the fruits of that labour in terms of what's gone on in the background this year has set us up brilliantly to roll out some of this and administer this for the coming season. So we're getting ever closer, and I'm sure we'll come onto it with the boys that we've got in the first team squad this year. I will go out on record saying I think it's going to be the closest that we've ever been to having someone regularly in the team, in the squad, especially now with the 7 subs. We use 5 from 7 now, not just 5 from 5. Mark and Rob and the team have got a slightly smaller squad than what they've had previously. And the 4 people that you're going to see in pre-season, the fans are going to see, I think are, very, very exciting young players. And I'm trying to not call Hayden and Jack Saunders young players anymore. They're 20, 21, 22, Jack, and this will be Jack's second year pro, same with Aiden. So no, they've earned the right now to be first team players. They've earned that right. So yes, they're young, but they are a proper part of that squad, and I know Mark and Rob and the team are going to be looking at that and looking forward to working with them. And then we've got Seb, who's going to be incredible he was incredible for me in his time at Red Hill with me, and I know what the lad can offer, and I see him being able to kick on. And then Josh Hebert, he's going to be, the only first year to be in the squad straight off the back. He's going into his second year with us, but I don't think we've ever had a first year complete that term with us and now be in the first team fold for pre-season. So testament to him how well he's done over the last year, and we're very excited. So yeah, it's all coming together. There's even bigger and better targets, and we're looking forward to the fans seeing all the development that's going to take place.
Fantastic to see the 4 players, as you mentioned there, George, all part of the first team squad, which is of course very recently confirmed. Sebatato Caballero, Jack Saunders, Hayden Gale, Joshua Hebert. We wish them all the very best for the 25-26 campaign, and look forward to seeing them in action over the next few weeks in pre-season. Fantastic to see that. And finally, Jordan, you just touched on it momentarily there. Goals and aspirations for the season ahead. We always finish with this, of course, don't we? That look ahead to our targets and what we're looking to achieve. Sitting here now, looking ahead to next season, Joel, in terms of hopes for the academy on the education football side, just your thoughts for the season.
Well, I think this is the bit that the staff scroll to, when they're watching this interview. So I'm going to make it perfectly clear and apply a lot of pressure as they go away for their summer holidays. Is we want to achieve even more. There was things last year that we didn't do as well as what I'd have liked. So FA Youth Cup, want to start, again, sort of second round twice in the last 4 years. Cheltenham only a season ago, second round proper away and put on a really good performance against some players now that are playing in their first team. So I want us to get back to breaking new ground and having loads of firsts. I want us to be getting as far as we can in that competition. And then also, just getting ever closer to more great exit routes for the players in terms of educationally, and obviously on the football side of things, continuing to produce players. We are, if you look at the county football across Sussex, Surrey, if you look at the combined counties, if you look at, even down to the Kent League, you would be hard not to find a player that has been a part of our programme in that league, or if not in multiple teams. So we are producing players that can go and have a career in football, in the national non-league pyramid, and we are proud of that. And the amount of players that we had out on loan last year or on dual registration, I think it was up towards to the 12 mark, just all playing across Sussex and Surrey, playing from step 3 down to step 5. It's amazing because we are developing players to be, yes, a part of this football club, but we're developing people as well, and that will always be at the forefront of our minds. Once a Dorking Wanderers Academy player, you're always a Dorking Wanderers Academy player, and we want this to be a lasting memory, whether it's part-time, full-time, whatever part of football you go into, we want it to be a lasting memory that you took something away from the people you met here and the experiences you had. So long may that continue, Dan, and we're going to strive for more. I've still got the fire in my belly, and I'm sure all the guys do too. So roll on 25-26.
Brilliant stuff. Jordan, thanks for your time as always. We reconvene for pre-season in August at the head of the academic year and the football season getting underway early September. So we'll catch up again then. Thanks again, Jordan, and we'll catch up in the next couple of months.
Cheers, Dan.